Ladies and gentlemen, the day has finally arrived. The MacBook Air with the M2 chip is officially in the studio. Now, this new MacBook Air got a redesign not too long ago, roughly about a month ago, and now features new color options, including Starlight and Midnight, apart from the already existing silver and space gray. The biggest changes we see are on the exterior, of course, at first glance, and that is that new redesign that now has a familiar chassis we've already seen, as it now follows the same design language as the MacBook Pros, but now also comes with a beefier M2 chip found inside. What's odd is that the M1 MacBook Air is still available directly from Apple and has not been removed from the official MacBook product line, at least not yet. In future videos soon to come, I'll feature performance tests, battery drain tests, and a buying guide. But for today, I wanted to show you guys a quick unboxing and first impressions on this coveted new M2 MacBook Air in this extremely sexy midnight color. I still want some time to work with this brand new machine, so my full in-depth review on this will come soon after, probably in a week or so. I'll tell you right now though, especially on this gorgeous midnight, my first impression was, wow, this MacBook is extremely good looking. It will definitely stand out from the crowd of silver and space gray MacBooks. That's for darn sure. So without further ado, let's jump right in and head straight into the unboxing. Alright, tech enthusiasts, I am beyond ecstatic for this one. Since launch, the midnight color has been hard to come by, with it still being back-ordered well into September. I had to drive about 3 hours round trip to pick up this bad boy at an Apple store that's not so close by. And I did it for you guys, because I know a lot of you are interested in the MacBook Air line. So if you could, give this video a like, because the way gas prices are nowadays, it's tough out here, man. But anyway, here it is in its iconic white Apple box. As you can see on the front side, we feature a nice side profile of the laptop opened up to highlight its razor thin chassis. On the sides, we feature Apple's classic color-matched Apple Air branding, as well as color-matched Apple logos on the other sides. And on the back side, we feature our serial number information as well as the contents of our box. And yes, this is a baseline model, and I am fully aware of the SSD issues. I'll make a separate video alone about some of the issues and controversies about the baseline model in a few days. Buyers beware. The baseline model is not recommended because of the SSD. Subscribe and stay tuned for that future video. So now, to unbox it, we have our easy to pull tab to rip the protective plastic. Then remove the lid and there she is, wrapped in its frosted plastic to protect it during shipment. As always, we'll set that off to the side to dig deeper at the contents of our box. First up is our literature packet, which has our instruction manual, a quick start guide, as well as color matched Apple stickers. The stickers are always the best part of an unboxing, and these will only add to my collection of hundreds of other stickers. Underneath that is a measly 30-watt charging brick, which comes standard with the baseline model. Again, one of the disadvantages of picking up the baseline, and I'm honestly disappointed in that. We should have received a better one, but Apple wants to nickel and dime you, since at the time of purchase, you can opt for a 35-watt dual USB-C compact adapter or a 67-watt adapter for much faster charging, both for an additional $20 per option, or you could upgrade to a mid-tier and get this stuff complimentary. How nice of Apple. Kind of sleazy, honestly, if you ask me, but we do see this awesome color-matched and braided USB-C to MagSafe 3 cable that is 2 meters in length. It's super cool that Apple color matches everything down to ports and accessories with some of their products. But now, getting back to the star of the show, remove the frosted plastic, and immediately I was blown away at seeing that awesome and sleek midnight color on the dark aluminum. Wow. So just open up the MacBook and it starts up automatically. Alright, so now going over a quick tour of the device. At first, it may appear to be thicker than the M1 MacBook Air, but the wedge shape of the M1 Air creates kind of an optical illusion, as the M1 Air goes from 0.6 inches at its thinnest to 0.63 inches at its thickest, With the M2 being more of a rectangular shape with consistent thickness, it measures in at just 0.44 inches and technically weighs a tenth of a pound less than the M1 Air. Its design language is insane on this brand new color. I may sound like a broken record, but I am just flabbergasted at how modern and sexy this computer looks. In terms of ports, on our left hand side we feature two Thunderbolt/USB 4 ports for quick transfer speeds, as well as our color matched MagSafe connector to easily charge the MacBook, and because it's magnetic, in the event of a trip over the cable, the computer won't slide off your desk and will instead just simply detach, which is always great. There have been a few close calls before on MacBooks that had to charge via USB-C versus MagSafe for me. Trust. The right side has a little less action going on with just this singular 3.5mm headphone jack that does differ from the headphone jack found on the M1 Air. This one features advanced support for high impedance headphones. So for those DJs or music producers, this may sway you towards the M2 Air versus the M1. You feature your nice and glossy black Apple logo on the top of the computer, which sadly isn't a glowing logo, but looks pretty gnarly against the midnight backdrop, honestly. Upon opening the laptop, you'll be greeted by your black keys, which pair extremely well against the darker midnight color, and at night or in a room with dim lighting, the backlight of the keys looks really awesome while typing on this sleek and dark MacBook Air. There's not much to say about the keyboard other than it's your standard MacBook scissor style keyboard you have come to love from Apple. The keys are bouncy and responsive, and at the top corner we feature Touch ID, used to unlock the device as well as making purchases online using Apple Pay. Looking at our display, the first thing you might notice is the notch, and honestly I'm not against the notch. How can I explain it? I mean, it just doesn't have to be there, honestly. We don't have Face ID or any of the other optics found on the iPhones, but within the notch is a better improved 1080p FaceTime HD camera. That is much better than the potato 720 camera found inside the M1 Air. So I guess in order to enlarge the display, it needed a notch, because otherwise, where would the camera go? Again, I don't mind the notch. I think it makes the Pro line plus M2 Air line a little more cohesive, with all of them having similar design language, and that also includes the notch. Like I said, our screen was enlarged a bit here thanks to the Liquid Retina display, now featuring a 13.6-inch display across the diagonal versus the 13.3-inch Retina display found on the M1 Air. I promise you, if you've been using the 13.3-inch display of the M1 with the slightly outdated and rather large bezels, this will be a welcome change, as the bezels are now thinner and the extra screen real estate is primarily used up by the top menu bar while leaving room for the rest of your content down below. I welcome any increase in screen real estate within a similar package, as it makes me feel more productive, especially on applications like Final Cut or Photoshop. Oh, and one other cool difference between this M2 and the M1 Air is that the newer M2 Air can go up to 500 nits of brightness versus 400 on the M1 Air. And on the underside, I was expecting etched MacBook Air branding similar to the MacBook Pro branding found underneath the Pro models, but there isn't. It's just a clean midnight color all across the bottom with 4 rubber feet for stabilization while typing. At first glance, I'm completely blown away. There are a ton of new features here that set it apart from its predecessor, and because of the MagSafe connector, this in theory frees up one of your USB-C ports while you charge as compared to the M1, so better for productivity. I still have a lot of work to do on getting a better feel for this computer, so make sure to subscribe to my channel for battery drain tests, performance tests, as well as my full in-depth review coming soon. My initial first impressions, this thing is sexy. It looks great and sleek, but I still need more time to handle it a bit more before giving you guys my full honest opinion. I'm excited to see how the M2 compares against the M1 performance-wise, but on the surface, this MacBook Air with the M2 seems like a worthy upgrade, but only time will tell. Pricing does come in a little higher than the M1, presumably because of inflation or whatever, as it now starts at $1,199 for that baseline model. That's $200 more than when the M1 Air debuted. So the question on everyone's mind who will be purchasing a MacBook Air this holiday season is M1 Air or M2? Don't worry, I'll be making a buyer's guide for all of you wondering that exact question. I'm just thrilled to finally have it in the studio and wanted to give you guys a quick unboxing and first impressions before I put out my proper review. Give me your thoughts and opinions down below, and definitely drop a comment on future video ideas related to the M2 Air. What would you want to see first? A battery drain test? Performance test videos? Just let me know, and as always, don't forget to subscribe for future tech content just like this, and I simply cannot wait to catch you all in my next video.